I am the goddess of empathy.
Hello and good evening. Star Trek The Next Generation, Season 3, Episode 21, Holo Pursuits, first aired back in 1990, but here in 2026 on Live Long and Podcast, we're just getting started. Whether you're joining us live on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, or catching your audio version wherever you get your podcasts, our mission to rewatch every episode of TNG continues. One holodeck fantasy, one awkward staff meeting, and one deeply anxious lieutenant, junior grade, at a time. And now this is your captain speaking, someone who grew up being such a big nerd and outcast. I think Barclay was the first time I ever truly saw myself represented on screen. I'm your host, Dave Mader, and we got a great panel here to break it all down. Coming in first, it's Captain America himself, fresh off of those 2 Olympic gold medals in women's and men's ice hockey. He's been playing Freebird all week, but those curlers from the USA couldn't quite hack it. From Washington, D.C. to the Enterprise D, he's ready to break down the senior staff's coaching strategy with the same intensity he brings to the rink. It's Chris Shaggy Vasilas.
Partying like it's 1980, even though I wasn't even born yet.
Right, nor was I, but the miracle on ice, a dual miracle, if you will, except the curling ice didn't quite happen for you there, but, hockey.
Not quite.
Before we go, because I've been ranting a little bit here, congratulations to the Americans. However, it was a very hard loss.
Well, I'll segue to your intro, Adam. Yesterday, we watched Team Canada lose the men's ice hockey final together,
yes,
and we haven't recovered. But tonight, he's tracking power dynamics, diagnostics, Barclay versus his superiors, fantasy versus reality, and Starfleet's expectations versus the limits of human confidence. It's Adam Woodward.
Yes, thanks, Dave. I've never seen a bar go from here to there.
Oh, I know. We were all like, look, okay, they're doing well, they're doing everything right, and then boom, over, and that was it. But that's sports. That's how it goes sometimes.
Go that way a lot, right? Recently,
it's not been great for Canadian sports fans in recent years, or months for that matter. Of course, he's studying the shadows behind the humor, the psychological strain, the coping mechanisms, and the uncomfortable truth that sometimes the holodeck reveals more than it hides. It's Justin Velociraptor.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? How's it going, Captain?
Great. Except for the USA winning hockey, that sucked.
Yeah.
And now you brought up the Blue Jays with that hat. Again.
Yeah, now you're bringing up the Blue Jays. All these old wounds are opening up. I know what we need. We need someone who's got the empathy, perhaps. Coming in here next, she's watching Barclay's vulnerability, the crew's impatience, and all the quiet moments where a little compassion could have changed everything. Style is sharp and turned into the emotional core. Here she is, our goddess of empathy, Heather Narduzzi.
I am the goddess of empathy. Cast off your inhibitions and embrace love, truth, joy, and Olympics.
Yes, Olympic sports. All that. Welcome, Heather and everyone. We had a 5-panel tonight. I invited more than I intended, but it's a great crew here to talk about the 69th episode overall of Next Generation that came out Yeah, 69. Originally aired on April 30th, 1990. Written by Sally Caves and directed by Cliff Bowl. And in this episode, the highly insecure Lieutenant Reginald Barclay, played by Dwight Schultz, uses the holodeck to cope with his anxiety and feelings of inadequacy while the senior officers debate how to address his performance issues and their own biases. This one, I had a great time watching this today. I don't know how about all of you. Heather, you want to start us off here? What do you think of this episode?
I love this episode. Anytime the gang gets to wear whimsical costumes and frolic in the holodeck is 100% great for me. I love it. I obviously love this amazing Troy costume. I love the interplay between the characters seeing themselves in Barclay's representations on the holodeck and how they react to that. And also upon rewatch, I think it's a really fun episode, but also it's creepy. Barclay, don't do that. Not cool. Not cool, man. You'd think there'd be safeguards on the holodeck to prevent such things.
Or just in their society, like there'd be like at least taboos or something like that. But it seems like he's the first one ever to do it ever. It seems like that's kind of...
The holodeck's pretty new still, I guess.
It's still pretty new, but like the idea that like no one would have...
I guarantee you the second the holodeck was invented, somebody used it for sex stuff immediately.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, and maybe Barclay was the first one to do it as soon as it was invented. I'm not sure. It's, Shaggy, the goddess of empathy as well. We got two competing goddesses.
We're not competing. There's empathy enough for everyone. Love,
there's
joy.
only one goddess, and it's Heather.
Yes, well, in the pantheon. Here we are. Shaggy, what do you think of this episode?
Well, I really, really love this episode. It's kind of very refreshing to see, the start of the character growth for Barclay, seeing his struggles to try to talk to others in reality, kind of like you were saying earlier, it's seeing my own struggles with, public speaking and trying to fit in and trying to talk to others. It was nice to see it on the screen and kind of identify with that.
Yeah, I definitely relate to that as well. Although I wasn't as much shy as, I maybe I talked too much. That was part of my problem. And then people didn't like what I had to say so much all the time. And that led to being nervous and sort of withdrawn over time. So, but it's definitely an interesting character they bring in here for, just a one spot, I thought. Adam, how do you feel about the episode?
Okay, so I wanted to be extremely hard on this episode tonight. However, I'm not going to be, because I read something about half an hour ago that actually changed my tune on it. And I'm just deciding when to talk about it. But, the treatment of Barclay was not good. And I think it really showed some not so good behavior on behalf of the Enterprise upper management, like senior staff. Mm. And but what really happened at the end is that even the little guy can save the day. And
the guy that everyone they all wrote off, right?
Yes, yeah.
Why is this guy even here? Like Geordi goes from saying I don't even want to be in the same room as this guy to actually embracing him as a member of the team, and then going, oh, look what we did here together, right?
Yeah, I mean, and listen, like Geordi's really one to talk about holodeck abuse, by the way.
Right.
Yes.
Well, I think he brings that up at some point here,
I've spent a few hours on the holodeck too,
We definitely know. You have. But yeah, I think Picard also really shines here as like the more mature adult, although he's the one who says broccoli directly to Barclay's face. But
also that's ridiculous. All the times that they've told Wesley to shut up and nobody told them, hey, it's not cool to call people names behind their back to senior staff. Come on.
I blame Riker.
Thank you. Riker is like not shining in season 3 for me.
Not in this episode, for sure.
The whole season. He just disappointed.
Well, wait until Best of Both Worlds Part 1. You know, that's coming.
His redemption. That's the only time.
That's his redemption. Okay, Justin, your turn. You know, how's this one for you?
I agree with everybody else. I love this episode.
Wait. Before you go on, I do not love this episode at all.
Oh, you do not love this episode?
I just want to be, I'm not going to be as hard as I was going to be on it.
But do you have any other reasons other than you feel like the characters are sort of not?
You know what, Dave? This was fine. It was it's perfect in a 26 season episode.
Or 26 episode season. Yeah, you wouldn't like if this was one of 10 episodes in like a Strange New Worlds episode, or a season, you would probably not be okay with it, right?
No.
It's waste of time.
Mm-hmm.
Not an epic.
No. And
what's Paul Giamatti like chewing up the scenery here?
Even right now with sorry, Justin. Even with like the character Barclay, he is not Enterprise material. Clearly. How do you get on this ship?
Well, that's what Riker's asking.
Maybe he's
the guy of personnel. Riker's in charge of letting people on board. It's his again. Riker is the problem here.
That captain buttering his bread with a bad reference. So, like, what are you gonna do?
Maybe he's a Nepo baby. Do we know any Admiral Barclays anywhere?
I don't know if Admiral Barclay, but they do ask this question in the episode: how does a guy like that get through the academy? When we're told that the academy is this hard, intense thing to get into, and then to stay there, and then to graduate, you got to be like the best of the best of the best. Barclay doesn't seem to quite fit that mold, but he did graduate evidently, and he is in Starfleet. You know, which is to Picard's point, he's an officer. You know, like why? He chose this way of life, so let's help him. Let's be there for each other, right? Sorry, Justin, your time.
No, that's okay. If Adam doesn't like it, he can be wrong. That's okay. I like this episode because for me, Barclay represents a very early representation of neurodiversity on screen. If you look at his character and the awkward things that he does, and that he really seems, if not having as bad of ADHD as me, possibly also on the spectrum. But having grown up with report cards that said Justin is often late and Justin is not living up to his potential, and
David needs to focus more in class. That's mine. Sorry,
that Riker exactly all the things that Riker is pointing at.
Talks too much.
Justin is easily distracted. Justin distracts other students.
Mm-hmm.
Justin is often found off
separated us in class, Justin.
Oh, yeah.
If we had been there,
we would have been those two that had to sit, one in the front and one in the back. No passing notes.
Did you get this one? Because I did a lot. Adam has great potential.
Oh yes. Or there seems to be a lack of interest in his potential. Was one that I frequently heard because I was just bored with whatever they were telling me, and so Barclay reaches out to me because I am an extremely smart person when you get to know me. But when I was younger, I was so awkward, and before I learned to mask a little bit better than I did when I was so awkward. I was Barclay. I couldn't talk to I remember this one girl, meeting her, and this is back when I was maybe 14 or so, and I met her and I just lost my voice entirely. Within 5 seconds of meeting her, just had that complete nervous, and it wasn't that I was shy, because like Dave, I never shut the fuck up. And everybody pointed that out constantly.
I get, but you knew, but I don't know, for me, it was I knew that most people didn't like me, or didn't want to hang around with me, or didn't want to talk to me.
Did. So that's what, and I have really bad anxiety in that. So between that and my ADHD, I love Barclay. This episode, I will say, has its problems for the way the senior staff is written. It's really everybody is really out of character in this whole episode. Wesley is such a little asshole,
Wesley. Although I love the holodeck.
Wesley has one to talk. He has one. Sorry, Wesley. Wesley has lots. He is always picked on as well. Come on.
Yeah, you should have a little bit more empathy.
Yes.
No, Troy was using up all of the empathy
She
as
was
the
the
goddess
goddess.
of empathy.
And I think, though, this is one of my favorite episodes in the third season for two reasons. And they're really petty, like tiny reasons. One is Patrick Stewart's costume when he's the musketeer.
Mhm.
Oh my god!
So
and the
good.
other is the look on Marina Sirtis' face when she runs into the Troy hologram and suddenly goes from Riker, you should be more tolerant of what Barclay is, and then just face. It's like, yeah.
So good.
There's so much of that holodeck sequence I love, in particular the Wesley Crusher just eating pie or whatever he's doing.
Yeah.
Like,
Fudge all over his mouth, and he's just in like Mummy's Precious Boy sailor outfit. I'm dead. I love it so much.
I
It's so
love
good.
it. Yeah,
right.
so good.
Same.
But
So all those things.
the
you know.
episode does have problems. It's got its
Mhm.
issues.
Sure,
Even if
it's
I
not
like some neurodiversity representation from the what year did you say this was? This was
1990.
1990.
90. Wow. Yeah. I think we were still calling it ADD then.
Mhm.
If at all. Remember, like this is
We're
if-
accurate in this back then, actually.
1990 is technically still the last year of the 80s. So they
Yeah.
don't know yet. They don't know yet.
No.
No, we didn't
No.
know.
So
He was a weird kid.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right, we just
So
called
when-
them, it throughout the 90s, which I remember well, was like we didn't. I don't even know if we had like certainly words like autism weren't not commonly used, and
No, not commonly used. I think we still use the hard R word a lot in the 90s,
right.
if
But,
I remember correctly.
for sure, or they would just say like that guy's a troublemaker or that guy doesn't fit in.
Busy.
Or what.
Busy. He's
Busy.
busy. He's a busy kid.
Right, so
Head
all
in the
these things,
clouds.
head in the clouds. Definitely, I could, but I love how Guinan describes him as imaginative, right? And then he has this whole other side that you don't really understand, right? And so
I
there's this.
I don't know if any of you guys watch Bob's Burgers at all, but this episode reminds me of when somebody finds Tina's journal of erotic friend fiction and threatens to read it out loud, but Tina does it anyway. And that just reminds me of like someone like when they walk in and find Broccoli's whole
Barclay.
whole setup.
Yes. Well, yeah. One last question before we jump into the screenshots. I know this is not true of Shaggy because he's younger than me, but were any of the rest of you familiar with Dwight Schultz from the A-Team like before this
No,
episode?
he wasn't Face. He was Mad Murdoch.
No, I'm far too young for such thing.
Okay.
Mad
So
Murdoch.
Adam.
Yes.
Um,
Great. He was the crazy guy on A-Team.
he was. I never watched the A-Team.
So he had to be
Completely-
broken out of
completely different character.
an asylum or something because the other guys were in jail, but he was in actually a criminal and insane place for
Clinically.
the criminally insane. That's what it is.
What was his character like in the A-Team? Was his character like
Wild.
Barclay?
Like
It was like a pilot.
he was the helicopter pilot. but he
Okay.
was unpredictable. He was crazy. You never knew what you're going to get of him.
So how would you evaluate him as an actor just based on that and
Oh,
this?
he's great. He's great, and I'm glad they kept him around after this because
Yeah.
he did give some interesting stories around him after this.
Yeah, well, obviously they kept bringing him back, so they must, there was something
He's
with
a
him.
good, definitely a good character actor.
And look how he shifted between confident Barclay to
Right, because he had to play both. He had to be like the one way with the officers, and then one way on the holodeck too, right? So it was kind of interesting to see all that. Okay, well, hey, let's jump into our screenshots. Everything we saw in this episode, and there was a lot to see. I got about 300 or so shots to run through, and I like the cold open for this episode because you don't know where this is going. We get Troy or a hologram of Troy, we'll find out, coming into the 10 Fort Lounge wearing her darker blue dress.
Very nice.
I love this dress. I think she wore this one also when she was in love with that guy for no reason.
Devanani Rao.
Yeah, thanks.
Another great episode.
don't get out of excited about bad episodes, but yes.
Listen, that episode's terrible, but she looks fine as hell in this dress.
Agreed.
Yeah, she looks great. Wearing some nice earrings she doesn't always wear either. Anyway, and then we get to meet Barclay for the first time here. He's at the bar. Guinan is trying to cut him off. I like how Riker is at the end of the bar just observing Barclay, seemingly trying to figure out how to be as cool as Barclay, perhaps.
Usually he's like heavily into the scotch.
Yeah. I want any trouble here, Guinan tells Barclay. Well, you better watch out because that's what he's all about. And you take this bottle from me. I drink it straight from here. Then Geordi comes in, hologram Geordi, and yells at Barclay for needs to be on his shift. And he says, well, what if I'm just busy here drinking scotch? And then he shoves Geordi to the ground, throws him across the room. So then Riker says, well, I can't stand for this. I have to get involved. So he comes over and says, this is insubordination, mister. You can't be doing that. I know I pulled that one.
This is insubordination.
This is oh, is it? Troy looks on, and Barclay knows just the thing to impress Troy. She looks great there.
She's so beautiful. Oh, gorgeous.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And Barclay's like, yeah, watch this. Anyway, he takes a big belt of scotch, and then he puts Riker into some kind of headlock or something. I don't know what's going on here. He's like, if Picard's got a problem, you tell him to come find me.
It's the Barclay maneuver.
It's the Barclay maneuver, yes. He's beating up this guy even taller than him. Of course, Riker has to run away, emasculated from this whole encounter with Mr. Barclay, as does Geordi. And then, Troy is like, wow, that was amazing. You're so confident. I can feel it coming off of you with my empathic powers. But just then he gets a call from the real Geordi, the non-hologram version, and
can you go back one screenshot, Dave? I love the way they shot this, like how she's leaning forward and the shape of her hip and just like her profile and his, like it's very like cinematic the way they frame that. I love it. So it gives it shows that it's a fantasy too,
Oh yeah, especially the way she plays it, because Geordi and Guinan and Riker, they're all kind of basically, pretty much themselves, like more or less. But then you're observing Troy, and like this, Troy's acting kind of weird. And
she's just overacting enough in this scene. Like I think I love the way that like her in particular did this whole character switch, like of their personalities for this scene. I thought Geordi and Riker were okay, but her, and like especially like you said, framing this scene and like that, or she's just a little bit exaggerated in her movement, just a little bit exaggerated in the pose, and the way the lighting is just hitting off of her hip and the side of his face, and
yeah, it's perfect.
What does Geordi mean? My mic levels have too much levels.
Your mic's still really hot.
I'm on auto.
Well, they sorting that out. It also looks like a Harlequin. That shot looks like a Harlequin novel, cover.
You can just imagine it like in a saloon or something, in like a Western saloon.
I've already folded to her whims.
Yes, a bodice ripper.
The broccoli of my love.
Oh my!
Am I still too loud?
That's better.
That is better. Yeah.
You told me it was better before, but all right.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't on then.
Yeah, that's true. You weren't here. So, okay. So then once we get this call, Barclay kind of snaps out of, his fantasy here, and we see him end the program. The holodeck fades away, and we hear, now, if Chris Worldmind Murphy is listening, yes, this is a green screen he's looking at, obviously, here. But like this,
I actually looked for it because I remembered that discussion, and I was like, "That's definitely a green screen." But the door looks real.
This part, like the floor and this door, this is real. Like this is built.
You can see the bad cut of the carpet, like along the edge where we lost Dave. Wow. Okay. When he comes back up, you can see the I think it's a carpet or a tile that they badly cut on the left side by the door.
Sorry, guys. Just drop me out for no reason.
Hey, Dave, can you bring that back up?
Yep.
It was mass chaos while you were gone.
I know.
See that unevenness? They didn't cut that very well.
Oh, even on the left side there.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. On the left side, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
What's wrong?
The holodeck carpet is not cut very well against the wall.
You're right. It's that's not a green screen.
That's practical. The other shot is not practical.
No. Yeah. Anyway, so then we go to the cargo bay where Riker and Geordi are here. Brian's also present, and a couple other engineers. They're beaming over these medical canisters because they got to take them to some planet, but they're mostly discussing Barclay in this scene where they're saying, I don't know how a guy like this gets through the academy. He's always late. His work is bad. He's unfocused. All these things that we were talking about that were on our report cards when we were young. We're coming out here, and we see a seal on one gets broken. This will start the process of contaminating these engineers with this substance that's ultimately going to nearly kill them when it gets into some of their more advanced components later on in the episode. But that's what's all being set up here. So they say, okay, dispose of that. This is what will melt the glass and things like that coming up. Then Barclay comes in. He hopes he can avoid being noticed by Commander LaForge, but by hiding behind these barrels and this cargo, but he is spotted.
Doesn't that look like? I always find how they pile stuff in these rooms very awkward.
Yeah,
like for the amount of stuff that goes flying around the bridge, like you got to believe that this is going flying around the cargo bay there.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, maybe it has anti-grav units. I'm not sure. But Geordi's playing tough guy boss.
Is it a problem for you to report to duty on time?
I'm sorry, sir. I was busy, on the holodeck, and Geordi.
No, he lied. I had a communication thing or something.
Oh, I know. Yeah, he lied about it, but I had an urgent thing.
I don't want to hear it.
He doesn't want to hear it. Get to work. Do your diagnostics. This idea of a diagnostic engineer, a role they've never needed before this episode, but becomes incredibly important in this episode. Someone who can, figure out why something's broken or why it's not working. But Riker says, I don't know what flim flam operation you were at before, Barclay, but this is the Enterprise, and I'm tired of seeing your name and report, so you better figure it out or you're out of here. And that is Riker's pissed off, angry.
Shape up or ship out, mister.
Yes. Hey Sam, how's it going?
Hey,
and
Sam.
yes,
Sam
Wednesday,
mentions that
we are excited.
This episode talks about video game addiction, which I didn't consider as something from the holodeck addiction.
Well, I guess
side
like
of things.
fantasy of addiction or any kind of sort of
escapism. But yeah, no, Sam,
I guess is the better way of thinking.
Back
of
in
it,
1990, video game addiction wasn't quite.
That wasn't really a thing.
A hot button. It was about 10 years, 10 years after that when you started hearing about people with video game addiction, and then World of Warcraft came out.
There was all this moral panic around video games when they first came out.
Oh yeah, the violence in video games. I remember when Mortal Kombat. I remember when that came out and all the big around that.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I said to Sam in the chat just now. There was some worry about video game addiction, but not like there is today. Games are much more immersive now. No one was getting addicted to Pong back in the day,
Oh, I got addicted to Mega Man. Let me tell you.
And don't forget that whole documentary about those Pac-Man guys.
I love that. The King of Kong. If you haven't seen that, go and watch it right now. It's terrific. Not right now, after the podcast.
Yeah, stay and watch us and then go watch it after.
Anyway, so we got through the teaser of the episode. We got our title card after Hollow Pursuits, where we see Barclay trying to fix this anti-grav unit. This is the big special effect for the episode where they're gonna make this thing float off the ground. They spent all their money on guest casting. They had to get Cole Meany's back here as a bride. I can't remember the last time he was here. He was in season 2 a lot, but he hasn't been in season 3 quite as much.
He was actually in last week as well. Just a brief shot.
Yeah, just like for a second, right? Yeah. So maybe he was probably filming some movie, probably like Under Siege or something at the time,
or Die Hard 2.
Or Die Hard 2, yeah. Die Hard in them all. Anyway, so they try to get this anti-grav unit going, and then Barclay's like, look, I fixed it. But then it malfunctions and spills more canisters. And dun, dun, dun. And Barclay doesn't understand. He did everything by the book, but it's still not working. And all LaForge can do is glare at him with disapproval and disgust.
This was literally my work day today, working on a technical issue that I should have been able to fix, and damn it, I couldn't figure out what the problem was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So get back at it, Barclay. Fix it. Go fix it. Jordy says you clearly didn't do it right. So we see him pulling out more isolinear chits that apparently are hot and are burning his hand. There's some interesting.
Didn't know isolinear chips got warm.
No, me either. But it's a nice little piece of physical acting, I think. Anyway, so he gets back to work. Then there's the scene afterwards in Picard's ready room where it's Geordi and Riker explaining to Captain Picard, Barclay, he's a bad officer. He's got, and Picard's like, I'm not used to seeing one of my people not be great. All my officers, my entire crew are the best of the best. How did we get this guy?
Do you think they really were suckered into taking him on board?
I think that I buy the story.
I find that pretty funny, to be honest.
He's like, well, I remember the captain so-and-so telling me that this guy's great. And he's like, well, I wonder if he was buttering the bread. There's also the whole thing here where they refer to him as Broccoli for the first time.
Broccoli makes me nervous, Captain. He makes everybody nervous.
Broccoli. Young Mr. Crusher started that. I guess it's caught on. Let's just get that uncaught, shall we?
Yeah, I like that. How about we not be doing that? Picard has to be like the adult to kind of tell them.
Also, Broccoli, what a scathing indictment of the man. Like,
yeah, well,
come on.
True. And even Riker's like, well, you're right. I guess that's probably not okay to be doing.
Yeah.
Not becoming a
The
first
flag does
officer.
tell the first officer of the flagship of the Federation ship that he can't call somebody a bad or just. It's not even a bad name. You're right. It's just stupid. Riker is just. I don't even know how to describe it. I'm just so disappointed in this guy who I used to like so much, and I don't like him anymore.
He'll come back. He's going to save Earth from the Borg. So it's gonna be all right. You'll get over this. Yeah. Anyway, so Riker's like, I don't know how this guy got through the academy. But Picard also has some great things here.
I've examined Barclay's psychological profile. He has a history of seclusive tendencies. He was noted at the academy more than once.
And yet he chose this way of life. He has made the same commitment to Starfleet that we all have. It's easy to transfer a problem to someone else. Too easy.
Yes.
Right.
Right. So here again, Riker is the personnel officer. He's the guy who lets people on and off the ship. And he just reviewed it now.
Yeah, well, I think obviously this guy reports to Geordi, and I guess Geordi's had it, so he's now complaining to Riker, and Riker's like, "Well, we should get rid of this guy. He sucks, clearly." But Picard's not so sure. He's like,
I get what Adam's saying though, is that you might have wanted to look at the psychological profile of the people you're bringing on board before it gets to, maybe review everybody's just as a.
Right. So he puts this on to Geordi. He's like, Geordi, you need to try. He's like, I am trying, sir.
Captain, it's not like I haven't tried.
Try harder, Geordi.
Try harder,
Buck
Geordi.
That is good. Try harder.
It's not my problem. It's yours.
And then Geordi does try harder, and then it works. Imagine all that, right? We see he goes down to the cargo bay. He has to kind of psych himself up to, deal with Barclay. I'm not going to call him Broccoli. And then we get Mr. Nice Guy Boss from Geordi. He's like, because at first Barclay's all, nervous and worried and still upset. But Geordi comes and goes, hey, whatever, man. Like, give me the report. Let me know what you think. He's like, okay, I'll have it right to you in the morning. Whenever, maybe in the afternoon. Like, maybe I don't even care when you said it to me. It's all good. Like, he goes a little too far, but he's trying to take Captain Picard's advice and direction to heart. And then he invites Barclay to the engineering senior staff meeting at 0800. He's like, the briefing, me? Oh, what would I even say? He's like, I don't know, come and talk to us, So that's also going to bother him, but be on time, for the briefing is what Barclay has been charged with. Let me see that when you get on there. But, Geordi's going to try this new approach. And I guess the moral of this story partly is if you're nice to people, you can often get better results, crazy management theory. But
whoa.
It's, but people are, managers are humans, and like, we get frustrated and impatient and whatever else, and that, is part of it too. So we get the engineering staff meeting. Now, I noticed in the last meeting, like, so many of these engineers were wearing like the old style uniform, like the season 1-2 uniform, but they spent some money here making sure they all had, like actual new uniforms here.
Well, first of all, Russell didn't come back this week.
Where's Russell?
Russell was the guy in last week's episode. He was in the engineering. He was working on the panel and Jordy kept referencing Russell. I thought it was funny. But this week we got Duffy, and you two are going to be fixing the injectors. And then Barclay is late for this meeting, even though he was told this is kind of his opportunity. Jordy lets it go. And then they're all talking about the different things. There's one part in here. Wesley's here because it's his school project or something. And we're here to teach him the difference between warp drive and impulse. Ha ha ha. Let's get this kid going on here. This guy gets assigned to something else. Then he asks Barclay to kind of address the meeting, to talk about his report and his findings and speak in front of others, but he gets very nervous. And then Wesley contradicts him and says, well, that wouldn't be something. And he goes, I know, you dumb kid, but I'm trying to, come out here. It just occurred to me in the 2 episodes where they've shown engineering staff, the last 2 episodes, there's been no women around the table. I don't know what they're trying. Well, Sonia Gomez used to work here. I don't know. She
spilled something on the captain and got blown out the airlock. Apparently,
she made captain by lower decks time. So there's something there.
And not only are there no women, but all the men look exactly like Barclay, except Jordy and Wesley. And then there's just a bunch of Barclay clones.
Well, they all had to fit this uniform. They ordered a bunch of these uniforms all at once, and they're like, they all have to fit these guys, basically. I think that's probably could that have been what happened? Okay, we're gonna order all these. We're gonna order all these uniforms, and we need the same guy basically to fit it, or the same type of body build. Anyway, so after this whole meeting here, that doesn't go so well for Barclay. We see that he then goes to who we think is Counselor Troy, but you can kind of. The way he's talking to Counselor Troy in his confident voice, you quickly start to realize that this isn't really him, or this is really him, but like, he's playing the part here on the holodeck. This is not the real Troy, because then it turns into romance, them making out. We'll get into the ethical questions, I think, at some point here, maybe towards the end, but this is what's happening here. There's a kiss, but then he's like, I want to change the setting. And then he changes this from Counselor Troy's office to this garden, I don't know, Three Musketeers land, whatever it is, the goddess of empathy, which is one of the I think most iconic things ever in TNG. I am the goddess of empathy. I am the goddess of empathy.
I love it. Cast off your inhibition.
Right. Yes, and he must know her, right? Like to this point where he's not like he just saw her on the ship. I feel like he has some kind of a.
Yeah, but here's the thing. It's not her. It looks like her, but it's just a receptacle of whatever he wants her to be.
Well, I realize, but like, why did he choose her, I guess is the question.
Because she's Gorgina.
Not because she's the only one who's nice to him or something, like
certainly possible, or like she is programmed to listen to him and respond romantically, whereas the real Troy would listen to him, but maybe tell him things he doesn't want to hear.
Right.
But even the doctor, I think he likes women of power or something, because she's feeding him grapes later. The doctor.
Yeah. But this is it with all of the people that he puts on the holodeck. They're all subservient to him.
Right. Everyone
Man, woman, child, they all are. It's just the people he's surrounded with who have power over him that he puts in the holodeck to have power over them.
True. Good. Yeah, I agree with that. Okay, then we go to the scene here after where Jordy is at 10 forward with two of his engineering. Well, one of his engineering staff, that guy whose glass will melt. Wesley's
Duffy.
here, and
Duffy.
Who can forget Duffy? And Data. And they're talking about Barclay, and like Geordi's explaining why Wesley kind of shut him down earlier, and Wesley kind of feels bad about it. Then they start referring to him as Broccoli, and then Data goes, "Well, why are you calling him that? If it's a nickname, that means like he's your friend, right? You're saying it as like as a good thing." And they go, and Geordi's like, "Yeah, he was right. Data's right. We're not doing that anymore."
Okay, worst line in the whole episode.
When Geordi says it?
When Geordi now says, Picard doesn't want us to do that. It should be like Geordi saying this is the wrong thing.
He says captain's orders. He does say captain's orders.
Yeah.
But I think Geordi's also kind of saying that because he believes it too.
But this Data is also very neurodivergent coded. And I think that goes along with what you were talking about, Justin, here, for Data to be like, why are we calling him that? Is it like a fun thing, a fun friendship thing? Like he doesn't get that they're being cruel.
Right. And once they realize it from Data's question, at least Geordi is like, the captain had a point earlier, I think.
But again, Geordi let this conversation go.
Yeah.
And,
anyway.
It is a shocking lack of professionalism from the senior staff in this episode.
I would like, if anyone's going to pick on Barclay, you think it'd be Worf, but Worf doesn't even have anything to do with any of this. He's not on the holodeck. It's he's not represented there at all.
That would be.
There's no honor in picking on Broccoli.
True, but but Dr. Crusher's on the holodeck, so he must have some issue with Dr. Crusher on some level.
She's a powerful woman, and that's what I think he's trying to control.
Right, but he's okay with Klingons. Anyway, so then this guy's glass starts to melt. Duffy, what's happening in your glass?
For years, I could have sworn that the guy that played Duffy was John Cryer.
No, it's not John Cryer.
If you would have asked me, I would have said, "Oh yeah, John Cryer when he was in that Star Trek episode." That is definitely not.
It's Charlie Lang who plays Duffy. Anyway, so then we get the mystery of the melted glass. First in engineering, where they're scanning it, where they're trying to diagnose the issue. Is it the replicator? Is it the something else? They then ask Barclay, who's just kind of hanging out by the warp core awkwardly at this moment.
Great. Hey, are you busy, Reg? No.
No. And then they're like,
no.
Okay, what?
That's awesome.
And he Barclay, they ask him to help see if he can figure out the glass thing, but then he says he can't figure out what happened with the anti-grav unit. And then that's what Data says, well, maybe they're connected. Right. And Barclay goes, well, maybe. I don't know. They go to the bridge and they're still looking at this glass and talking about it, showing it to Riker now. And when Picard shows up, I love how Data's like, Barclay was the first one to say that these things could be connected, which he kind of didn't. But they were kind of Data had put that suggestion together. And then I look forward to reading your report, Mr. Broccoli, he calls him by accident. I do like Riker here. Riker at first shocked, right? And then Picard goes, "Oh no, I shouldn't have said that." And then when then Riker's happy, which made me laugh.
It's not just me.
It's not just me. Oh, Mr. Perfect could slip of the tongue, huh? So anyway, but sad because Barclay doesn't like it. He then gets into the turbo lift almost right away to retreat into his holodeck business, escapism. And then Data's like, well, that slip of the tongue, that can happen in the best of times. And I don't even know if he says shut up, Data. He just looks at Data, right? And then Data's like, and never mind. And then he goes back to work.
I'm going to work on this.
Yeah. Anyway. So yeah, Picard. We get the scene here with Guinan, with Geordi talking about Barclay in 10 forward. She says she knows him. He comes in and orders warm milk. that he's very quiet and everything else. But I think this
love this outfit. This color looks amazing on her. She looks luminous, and I love the texture that they used for it. It's really, really nice.
Yes,
and the double collar there, and the kind of ruching in the front. It's beautiful, beautiful costume.
Yeah, she doesn't wear bright colors that often, like sometimes orange and stuff, but this is,
it's usually more like jewel tones. I think this is the bright, well, I mean, we see her in red too, but I think this is like the lightest, brightest color we see her in. And I love this scene. She's very much like letting Geordie have it without,
beating him over the head with it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Like, get there on his own, where she's like, well, she's like, if I thought nobody liked me, thought I was no good or didn't, I'd be nervous and making mistakes all the time too. Right. She tells this story about her uncle, this family member that no one else, really liked. What do I got here?
Mm-hmm. Reminds me of Turkham, my mother's brother. Sort of the family misfit. Everybody told me to stay away from him. Bad influence.
Did you?
Are you kidding? He's the only member of my family who had a sense of humor. Except no one ever stayed around him long enough to realize it but me. My mother tells me I remind her of him, and I probably do. The idea of fitting in just repels me.
The idea of fitting in repels me, she says. An interesting concept, right? She's more, when there was an uncle that everyone said stay away, she was drawn to it, to him. And that shaped.
That guy has a way of putting things.
Right.
Words of wisdom.
And Geordie's like, you know what? Maybe, I've been coming at this completely wrong. I got to think of this differently. So then he decides, okay, I'm going to go find Reg, his new friend Reg. So he goes to the holodeck and he just goes in.
Okay. Do you find this kind of weird?
A little.
Yes. You can just go in the holodeck when somebody else is in there and using it. Not cool.
What if I'm in a hot tub?
What if you're doing something you really don't want people to see?
What if you're in a mud bath?
Like in a hot tub
with
Waxana Troy.
Yeah. In a mud bath.
Waxana Troy. Yes.
I think they probably have a general directive on the Enterprise that when Waxana's on board, you do not enter any of them.
I think that at least would be like a do not disturb sign or something.
Standing orders.
Sock on the door.
And you can't just walk into somebody's quarters without their permission. Why should the holodeck be any different? I mean, obviously, I know it's for story reasons, but that's. You can't
even
just
if they
walk
had him
in
override the lock or something, like if he is like override code
security override,
Yes, I need to be kinder and more welcoming to Reg, so I'm just going to go barge in on his most private fantasies now.
They will say by the time we get to Deep Space Nine that by that point they do have a law that says you can't go into a holo suite or holodeck.
Yeah, because they're doing weirder stuff in the holo suites on Deep Space Nine. Than they were in Next Gen.
Right.
But you know what? I mean, again, if anybody should have learned a little discretion, it's Mr. Geordie LaForge here.
Right?
That's true. Yeah. He fell in love on the holodeck, if you recall.
No, he fell a lot more in the holodeck. True.
There was some things off camera.
Too,
Yeah. Anyway, we get to meet the first of the Geordie meets the first of his holograms. He meets the holographic Wesley and Dr. Crusher, who she's like on this swing here, and he's eating a pie. And where's my lord? I
love the bird in the cage too.
The bird in the cage. It's a very interesting dreamscape that he's crafted here. And Geordie it doesn't even occur to them that these could be holograms, because this idea of creating holograms of people you already know is absurd to the 24th century, apparently. What? Why would you do such a thing? But
I suppose in the Star Trek universe, there was no deep fakes and AI slop and such.
Maybe not.
Before holodecks.
How are there not regulations?
Yeah, right.
Right. But
how are there not regulations against making holograms of crew members?
Right. Well, maybe they hadn't thought of it.
This is a violation of protocol. Crew members should not be simulated in the holodeck.
Commander, I don't think there's any regulation against...
Well, there ought to be.
That's how new laws get written. That's how new
Yeah.
laws get written sometimes. But anyway, Wesley's eating a pie, and
he's just straight up hand eating a pie out of a tray.
Yeah,
slob.
Yeah,
in his silky little robe with his ostrich feather plume in his hat. Like, this is a look.
Nice hair. I mean, speaking as a guy with a lot.
Yes.
Lovely locks.
Shaggy, I'm very disappointed that you didn't put this look on. Like, really missed opportunity. You have the hair for it. I'm sure you have a hat with an ostrich feather in it somewhere and a pie. It's not that hard.
Yeah, you're right. I do need to get one.
He goes through 4 pies during the episode. Just keeps eating the pie.
He's practicing for Stand By Me, the big pie.
Yes, great the pie eat.
More Will Wheaton.
Yeah, Dr. Crusher. She's got an interesting looking outfit too. She's I don't know.
This dress is gorgeous, just like miles of tulle and the little velvet choker and her curly hair. It's so romantic, like,
and the soft light and backlight.
Yes, beautiful.
Absolutely. Anyway, so then the 3 Musketeers show up, which is Data, Picard, and Geordi.
She almost looks like a character from Sub Rosa.
Yes.
Oh,
where is her candle? Get this woman a candle right now.
Look at that candle. Anyway, then we get the stuntman who's coming in here fighting the 3 Musketeers. Well, it's mostly a stuntman. There's some funny. This is pretty funny. I like all this stuff.
How do you expect to fight without your sword, sir?
They're going out of here. This is clearly a stuntman, not Dwight Schultz in these wide shots. I think Geordi's kind of just amazed to see this side of Barclay's personality, even interacting with a hologram. As he's like, fighting them with 2 hands, and he's self-taught, and he's one of the best fighters ever. He eventually, starts getting it on here with Picard, the Picard hologram, who, I don't know if Barclay's actually good with swords or if he was just programmed to win these fights, but but then all of a sudden he says, well, who's that guy over there? Is that one of your guys? And he goes, oh, Jean-Luc, you would never trick me with these things. But then Geordi clears his throat and says, and Barclay realizes the jig is up here.
Internal screaming.
But like, you really feel that in this episode. We've all been caught doing something we shouldn't have been doing by like the worst person to catch you at it. And when he turns around and sees Geordi, like, I felt that in my soul.
Yeah. And even when we go here, there's a cut here and we go to 10 forward, and just the way Barclay is, how ashamed he is and embarrassed, and he's like, I'll make it easy for you. I'll just request a transfer and I'll get the hell off the ship, and whatever. But Geordi tries to reach with him here. He's like, I'm trying to understand why you would do this, and Barclay explains that he did it one day after Geordi yelled at him in engineering, right? Another Guinan does come by here at one point and says, because Geordi alludes to Barclay's imagination, and she goes, see, I told you he had imagination. I know.
Stargazer Fish says, surprised he's not visiting HR right now.
Yeah.
He should have had a meeting with HR about this.
But isn't Riker HR?
Well, Riker and Troy, I guess, are HR.
They have conflict of interest then. So you might need a third party to come in. I don't know. We can get into the ethical debates of it all, is it okay to make somebody on the holodeck? Is it okay to, if it is, are there limits to that? Is it okay to have a sword fight with somebody on the holodeck? But what about making out with somebody on the holodeck? All these kinds of questions, right? Going further than that, I think all those are valid questions. Apparently that the Star Trek universe has never contemplated it at all up until this point. Yeah, because it's not really them. It's just a fantasy, and if he imagined this in his head, it would be whatever.
I think one of us should go back to school for philosophy and write our master's thesis on holographic ethics.
Well, I think that there is a lot of philosophical questions here, ethical questions, and I don't have all the answers to them.
Well, what about the time that Picard and Riker were on the holodeck, and Riker fell in love with Minuet, and
that's not a real person.
Minuet
right?
was not a real person. But it's certainly not a real person that they worked with and spoke to every day.
I'm with you, but let's face it. What's his name? Barclay being late for his shift is a lot worse or a lot less impact than Riker, losing it with Minuet, where they bind her, they're taking over the ship. So.
Well, I guess what you're asking, like, what is it to even get involved in the holodeck at all? I guess the other question here was Geordi. As we know, Geordi was the one who created Leah Brahms on the holodeck, and then got pretty, intimate in a sense with her, emotionally at least.
Before we find out later that she is none too happy about that,
and she's not happy about that, right? Because that's
rightfully
her.
So.
Yeah.
And because that was like a recreation of her personality as well, so it's kind of, but
it's kind of less egregious that these people, well, at least in the fantasy scene, that they just look like the people. It's slightly more egregious when he was committing workplace violence on Geordi and Riker.
Right. Well, and how, I guess we get this idea that this is all somewhat, maybe just not nefarious, but what if he was in there, he had the holographic Geordi and he was like, I don't know, electrocuting him or something, or doing something really sadistic,
how many lights are there, LaForge?
How many lights are there? Whatever. Right. How quickly would you lose the audience, as well?
Well, I mean, is it worse to torture somebody, or is it worse to make them kiss you and entertain you and all of those? Because that's absolutely non-consensual.
I would pose the question that it's all doesn't matter because it's all a hologram. It's all not real.
You really want to fuck your head up. Let's bring in Moriarty to this argument. What agency should we be giving to holograms?
Well, yeah, we know that some holograms have a lot, like if there's the Doctor or whoever, right, or Moriarty. Some of these holograms do have more agency, more sentience, if you will, more personhood. But I don't know if that's true.
And Dave, you're saying, it doesn't matter because it's not real. I can Photoshop a picture of you doing a lot of unsavory things. That's not real.
I don't have a whole folder of those, Heather. I don't know what you're talking about.
What happens? You're going to get arrested. You can call it creepy, but that's a difference between creepy and straight up wrong.
Yeah, but you wouldn't feel Dave wouldn't feel good about that,
no, but should there be a recourse? Should there be a rule against it?
I would be upset if somebody deep faked me wearing, let's say, I don't know, a Team America hockey jersey. That would make me upset.
What if Shaggy drew a political cartoon of somebody and they didn't like it?
Right. Well, that's just it. And caricature and satire and I think we could go on for hours. But
I know. I think it's a grander philosophical thing. I understand why people don't like it. I just don't know if it's.
I don't think that caricature and satire are on the same playing field as taking somebody that looks, sounds, and for all intents and purposes is me and making her do whatever you want.
But it's not. But you're not present. That's so nothing's happening to you. Technically,
yeah.
So it's my image. Don't I have control over my own image?
I think that's the debate, right? Is what rights does the original person have, if any? I don't know the answer to that.
Well, we're out here on Mark Zuckerberg's internet. We don't own any of our images anymore. So
no, let's be honest. True. We need to have that. We need to be starting to have this debate now in real life, modern day. What is our
Well,
likeness,
the other day they made
have.
that video. Well, yeah, like likeness
Our
and
voices.
Will it be like sort of like a public domain? Like, what if you're recreating Abraham Lincoln? Does he? What he never
exactly,
consented,
right?
He
And
never
what did
consented to
Olympic-
having his image on the internet. So why should we be allowed to? Like, it's there's all. I don't know what. But he was a president, and so is that okay? Or if you're an actor, is it a different rule?
Yeah, like what if you were to make Abraham Lincoln a vampire hunter? Is there a problem with that?
No, because that's cool.
But when it's such a realistic recreation, I do think it does cross like from my example of a cartoon or even something like that, right? Where it's clearly, you can tell it's clearly not that person, but it's then when it's such a realistic recreation, does it now have a different standard? Maybe. So, but does that last for while you're alive or until all of time? I think these are, if someone was inclined to recreate a version of you 1,000 years from now, which could be, right? So anyway, O'Brien calls because there's more malfunctions here on the Enterprise. Geordi says, you better go talk to Counselor Troy. That's an order. And then we see that we get here with O'Brien, and they says, okay, I'm doing this test on on the transporter, and they beam this like big metal rod from one side of the transporter room to the other, and then when it beams back, it's all fried and broken in pieces. So you don't want to use that transporter right now. It's not safe at work.
It's inside out, and it exploded.
Yeah, well, good thing I don't have to go anywhere, he says to O'Brien. So then they're showing this to Picard, and Riker in the transporter room after the commercial break. Basically, say, we need to get this figured out. We need Barclay for this. Only a diagnostic engineer can solve this mystery, and we just happen to have one, but he's a little distracted. So Barclay does follow the order that Geordi gave him, and he does go see the real Counselor Troy. But because of all of this holodeck experience Barclay's had with the fake Troy, he's not too comfortable in this session. The guilt, perhaps, of that is weighing on him.
Okay, so he knows he's done wrong, right here,
right?
So
you can tell
if this is sort of the measure, you've crossed the line, then maybe that's it.
Well, yeah, he doesn't quite say that, but yeah, you can infer it for sure. So Troy's trying to help him. Then Troy tries to but she can sense his emotions, right, this whole time too, Anyway, she turns down the lights, and this gets him even more uncomfortable. She tries to comfort him, but then he just leaves in a panic and says, "Okay, I guess I breathe through my nose and out through my mouth. Okay, bye. I'm cured. Thank you."
Thank you, Counselor.
Thank you, Counselor. It's amazing. And then he nearly bumps into somebody on the way out. So she doesn't really feel she's confused by that, at least. She goes to see Geordi. One of your officers is really weird, and
Dude freaked me out, man.
This guy, he kind of freaked me out. I'm not quite sure what to make of it. But Barclay is late for this meeting that he was invited to. That was supposed to be at 1400. I guess that was discussed just in that transporter scene earlier. So they find out he's not responding to his communicator, and he's on the holodeck. So Riker says, "I've had it with this guy being late all the time. I'm going to go find him and tear a strip." And Geordi goes with Counselor Troy, thinking that she'll be necessary for what they're going to find here, which is what Geordi already found, which is his holographic fantasy. And when they get in there, they meet the three Musketeers again: Data, Picard, and Geordi. Right. I played the clip earlier. Riker's like, "This is a violation of everything else," but Counselor Troy says this could be a valid therapy for somebody with psychological intimidation or whatever. They're coming at them with the swords. "How do you expect to fight without your sword, sir?" But they're not too impressed by Riker not willing to fight in a sword fight. I love the Geordi Musketeer maybe the most. Ha ha ha. Well, we've got an opponent for you. Let's get him out here.
Picard looks really good, with the hair and
right. What appropriate adversary for him. Number one.
Am I late? Did I miss the fight? On guard! You, sir. You have a familiar bearing. Is it possible our swords have crossed somewhere before?
I don't know. I always thought that was funny.
I love it. I think it's so fun to see Riker goofy like that. And if you'll notice, Frakes is speaking in a higher register than his normal voice for this character.
Right, I wasn't sure.
His eyes are so wide the whole time, too.
Yeah.
Hey, what's going on? Is he in like a higher vocal modulator, or is he just doing that?
No, he's just pitching his own voice up, I think.
Okay, yeah.
Like speaking in his head voice.
And he's just like the biggest imbecile, and he's short and everything else. Riker's not too impressed, but Counselor Troy finds it funny. At least. Well, you are tall. That could be intimidating to people. So she allows him to discontinue the Riker hologram. Then the Three Musketeers are not so impressed with him. She's like, well, this could be
it's a healthy outlet.
It's a healthy outlet.
There's nothing wrong with a healthy fantasy life as long as you don't let it take over. You're taking it so seriously. It's not without its element of humor.
But then she meets
this right here.
Her limit here. The shocked look here, and the where's my goddess?
And there's Riker's slightly amused face again.
Mm-hmm.
I am the goddess of empathy.
I am the goddess. And
cast off your inhibitions.
Cast off your inhibitions. And
now Riker is like full on smirking. He loves it.
First officer's log. This is the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Exactly. I need to use this program.
Remember?
Yeah.
Quite a healthy fantasy life, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. Anyway, Troy's not. Meanwhile, the Enterprise is breaking. They have this warp shift. They start like accelerating from like warp 6.5 to 7, I think.
Yeah, and Picard's like, where's my entire senior staff? Are they all floating around on the holodeck?
Oh, they're down in the holodeck. They are.
Holodeck activities can wait until later.
Yeah, get off the holodeck and go fix things. And while you're at it, find that Barclay, and get him on diagnosing things.
Okay, Dixon.
Dixon Hill. Get him on there. So she's not too happy with this hologram.
Muzzle it.
Yeah.
She's Greek. She can hold a grudge.
Yeah, exactly. She then finds Barclay here sleeping with the holographic crusher, like sort of saying, "Shh, don't wake Master Barclay." And anyway, I guess they woke him up because then again he has the second internal screaming moment here now with Troy and Riker. Now
look at his shoulders are all like down and his head's forward. Oh my god, it's so embarrassing.
And he's clenching his hands, and it's just all the kinds of things. So then,
it's like sad Charlie Brown walk home. Do 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 do.
And then like Geordi's like, come on, man! Like you had a chance to talk to the real Counselor Troy, and you went in there. Why are you doing that? Right? I get the holodeck can be like immersive and seductive, but
he's like, the real Counselor Troy won't make out with me.
She will not. Not
That's
yet.
Not your inhibitions and your clothes.
Jordy's like, I fell in love in there once. I've had my trust me, I'm not like squeaky clean on my holodeck record either. But it's a whole thing, and so I think Jordy feels a bit there. But Jordy says when he talks to other people, he can't. Barclay rather. Anyway, they go to the engineer and they're trying to figure out the problem, but it's not a computer error; it's a physical one. That the injectors of the antimatter are stuck open. They're getting faster and faster. The ship is going to accelerate itself into breaking up apart, and they only have a few minutes before they're going to be sort of dead. So that's a problem, and they need to get fixing that. So they Geordi calls together his engineering team, and he says, no bad ideas here, we're gonna have a great brainstorm. Let's hear it. And Wesley doesn't have the answer, and Duffy doesn't have the answer, but who does is Barclay. Says, well, maybe it's us, maybe it's like the people who are spreading these problems around, like the replicator, the transporter, and I guess the engines. Now they won't what are they going to do? So they only have so much time left, and the ship is getting faster and faster. And the rest of the guys, Duffy doesn't understand what Barclay means, but Barclay says, well, maybe we're touching something or bringing it around. Maybe the engineering staff is the source of this all. And a couple substances, we find out that there's all these substances that they don't scan for all the time. They're eventually able to narrow down like a list of 5,000 into a list of 5 within a couple, a little bit of reductive reasoning. And then they, of the 5, they eventually narrow that down to 2. And that they say, well, these other 2 substances that it could be like they weren't even used when we invented a lot of our new systems, so they might be having unforeseen effects. Space travel is dangerous, I guess. What are you gonna do? So they go down. They go down there to the medical canisters from earlier with their nice shiny, I guess,
Michael Jackson gloves.
Michael Jackson gloves. And they're opening this up and they're trying to scan for it while the ship is again speeding up to near oblivion. And then they eventually, I think with the second purple scan, they're able to find, oh yeah, there is this stuff in here, and that's what's mucking up the gears. So that's what we have to fix up. So anyway, let's get there. We got to make it really cold or something in the engine, and some gas, and anyway, and yada yada in this part, because they eventually they save the ship, they save the day, and they're not going to die, so that's great. And take the ship out of warp. It's all thanks to me and Lieutenant Barclay here. We got it all figured out. Jordy says. Riker, I don't have the shot of it. Riker was like, whatever. That guy made a little hologram of me. I don't like it. Then we see Barclay comes to the bridge, and Dr. Crusher's here now, and he comes and he stands in front of the entire senior staff and says like this goodbye message. And at first we think he's maybe saying he's going to leave the Enterprise, but he's actually saying goodbye to his holographic friends and sometimes lovers. With Troy. But he says the real Counselor Troy told him that this is a necessary thing here. So, they say, well, you're always welcome here, Barclay. We love you in holodeck land. And so he ends the program and deletes the programs, but then he changes his mind. He's like, keep this one. We don't know which one he keeps. Is it?
We know.
I like to think it's the one at the very start of the episode.
Yeah. Worldwide says the sexual harassment training. Well, yeah, I guess so. I don't know if he harasses anyone. Anyway, and then that's the screenshots for the episode.
Yeah.
Adam, I bet there's things I don't know about this.
There might be.
Yeah.
So Dave, actually, I put a picture into the chat if you could bring that up.
Yeah, sure.
Sexy fun facts with Adam.
Fun facts with
Adam. Facts with Adam.
In our Facebook chat?
Yeah, the next gen.
Okay, one sec. But you have the floor, sir.
Okay, so Dave's finding that Holly's Wesley appearance is based on a famous painting by a guy named Thomas Gainsborough called The Blue Boy. His costume was copied in detail, and references to the painter in the painting can be found in the script.
How cool is that?
I do have it. One sec. Okay.
Although there's no pie, I will say.
No pie?
And no bird.
Maybe that's a reference to put in his plum and pulled out a thumb. No, put in his thumb and pulled out a plum. You know that rhyme?
Yeah, I do. I know it.
Yeah.
But
anyway. Oh, yes. This is legit exactly what Wesley was wearing. The hat, the plume, the blue silk.
I think one of my favorite things about this era was that men like to show off their calf muscles in this time, because that's how you exuded manliness.
And those bows on the shoes.
So,
damn.
Yeah, well,
listen, I love a shapely calf.
Well,
bring back
your thumb at my ruffles, sir.
Yeah.
So anyway, there's the character that Wesley was based on. Wesley had a not a big role, but he was important. This was the first appearance of Dwight Schultz as Reginald Barclay, who he was originally intended to be a one-time character, and then to get sent to a mental hospital over his holodeck addiction.
Oh.
Okay, so did they change? So they changed the ending then?
I guess so. They changed it and thought he's going to be so good, we're going to bring him back. I don't know how that all worked out.
Yeah, I wonder if they did that while they were shooting it or not.
Maybe. Heather, you're going to like this one. This episode was nominated for an Emmy Award for Outstanding Achievement in Hairstyling for a series.
Yes.
It was not the engineers.
No, it was definitely the hairstyling budget. Yeah, hairstyling budget did not go to the engineering staff.
Engineering people don't have imagination, remember? Like that's what
No.
Guinan told them earlier.
That's right.
They were nominated for hairstyling and not costuming
No, well,
for this episode. Wow.
I think Crusher's hair alone warrants the.
Yeah, that was a nice hair.
Yes.
And Picard. Picard looks really good in hair.
Yes,
He does.
Yes, he does.
Yeah,
And Wesley's long, shaggy-esque hair in his blue boy outfit.
I do like it, Shaggy. You look good.
Thank you.
This episode makes explicit and implicit references to Geordi's questionable holodeck relationship with Leia Brahms, which is funny. And we didn't mention it. I don't know if anybody caught it, but the tune of the Minstrel Boy can be heard playing in the scene where Barclay is leaving the holodeck at the end of the episode.
But Barclay's not the minstrel boy. That's
no, but it was
O'Brien.
being played. It definitely was being played. I heard it last night when I was listening or watching.
Right. The minstrel boy to the war is gone. I don't know why they would choose that, but okay.
I don't either. The test cylinder props were actually U.S. Navy sonar boy transport cases. The ones were on the platform of the transporter pad.
Who know those were made of solid uranium?
And then during in Deep Space Nine episode "The Image in the Sand," O'Brien and Worf recall Barclay's holodeck antics, although neither character actually witnessed the program. So it must have been a big Star Trek lore or Enterprise lore after the fact. You remember that time that Barclay had?
Oh, right.
Well,
you were
being like bad, calling him broccoli. Can you imagine the scuttlebutt and the shit?
Oh
gossip?
boy, they're drinking their synthahol. It is a story to tell.
Barclay was creating a Troy hologram on the holodeck. You know, like
I never thought of that. Let me go do.
And then everyone's doing it.
Hey, did you hear what Barclay did? Yeah. But I'll talk to you about it later. I have an appointment with the goddess of empathy.
Yeah, I'm gonna go run Program 9 on the holodeck. Wink.
So if that's her nickname, yeah, I've got to go see the goddess of empathy. They've got it in their little calendars. Who's their meeting? Yeah, it's hilarious.
And nobody will dare say it to her face because she hates it so much.
And we're laughing about it. So it's great.
Terrible.
During Barclay's counseling session with Troy, he mentions that he knew about the flux capacitor and didn't need to
It's like a Back to the Future reference.
Yeah, I heard that.
Me too.
Yeah, I know about the flux capacitor. I didn't. That boy telling me what's up.
That's right. The episode drew some early controversy as Barclay was perceived by viewers as reflecting a stereotypical Trekkie. Producers have maintained that Barclay had no such reflection, nor was the episode being intended to be any sort of statement on the Star Trek fan base.
It's interesting that
attacked.
Trekkies, though, they interpreted that. Like, they saw themselves in this guy.
Wow. Didn't you guys all just say
this? Didn't we all
went through how much we... Yeah.
But not in the sense, not from being a Star Trek fan specifically, but it's
Yeah, that's because we didn't have words like neurodivergent then. We had Trekkie.
We had weirdo.
Yeah.
Weirdo. Yeah.
Nerd.
Yeah.
So coming back to the Minstrel Boy, this was sung out by Chief O'Brien in season 4 of the episode called "The Wounded." The song is written by Thomas More and honors a valiant boy who died in battle. In essence, this is Barclay saying goodbye to his swashbuckling fantasies, saving one program from deletion. So it keeps the spirit of the boy alive.
Where is it?
The minstrel
minstrel boy to the war has gone. In the ranks of death you will find him.
There's a little minstrel boy for you.
Yep. And then finally wrapping this up, the real Dr. Crusher doesn't appear, but the holographic replicas of her are seen several times.
Yeah, we never see the real Crusher in this episode at all.
No,
we barely
I think
see.
she would also be less than impressed.
I always think
sure.
when they put her on that little jump seat in the bridge, it looks so odd. You know.
Yeah. Well, I guess they just wanted the entire cast to face him there, so that was the most logical place to put her.
The entire holographic cast.
Yeah, entire holographic cast. All right. Well, thank you, Adam, for your sexy fun facts. Let's rate the episode. We'll see if our discussions have changed our opinions here. Now, well, I'll give you the IMDb score last. I'll go first. When I watched this today, I was like, I really liked it. It's not like yesterday's Enterprise, but it's pretty good. It's a good character. I think it's an interesting 1990 science fiction, although looking back on it now, I'm like, where were these people's imaginations? If you had this tool at your disposal, you could go so much further, and dark, I guess, is the other way you could go with it. But this was more like, wouldn't this be fun? Which I always enjoyed with it. So that's all a long way to saying I like it better than last week's. I'm going 8.5 on this one.
So, guys, listening to you guys talk at the beginning, and what I read from another, I guess, review earlier, is the whole point is that you get somebody who's a little bit quiet, a little bit not as confident as you'd like, but they have a hell of a lot to offer, and I think that was sort of the message here, even in 1990. Well, it seems like they really didn't mean that, but that's what they did. And so I was going to go below 5 on this, but I'm giving this a 7.
Okay, we got him up to a 7, everyone. There you go.
This is what makes this great, because you guys gave very good perspective at the beginning.
Yeah, and I was actually higher on the episode, and I'm kind of going, it's not, but it's still pretty good. Who's up? Heather.
That has really been my experience doing this rewatch with all of you. There are definitely episodes that I've felt, was a skipper in the past, or that I wasn't that keen on, and reviewing it with all of you has given me different perspectives and interest. But this one I liked anyway, so I'm going to give it a 7.5.
7.5. Justin?
I'm going to give it an 8 even. I liked it. It's not my favorite episode of the season. I think it's a solid episode. And I'm glad they kept Barclay as a character.
Mm.
Yeah, all well said. And Shaggy?
I'm going to give this one a 9. I really like, again, that they keep, like Justin said, they keep Barclay as a character. You can kind of see the seeds of him taking the first steps to kind of overcoming his shyness. And you can see the first steps that the crew takes to kind of pull him out of his shell, kind of how they deal with him a little differently. It leads to a nice arc, and the fact that Barclay will bring an importance to the ship.
Well said. Well said. Okay, well, so the average between the 5 of us here tonight is at 8 out of 10. IMDb gives this, let's just have a quick look.
7.7.
7.7.
Yeah, so we're pretty close.
We're not too far from that. Okay, so we're pretty close to that 8.0 mark. So not a bad score.
Stargazer has a rating there, Heather, if you want to bring that up.
Pardon?
Stargazer has a rating.
Oh, on the chat?
Yeah.
Oh. I thought you were talking about Picard's ship, and I was like, what? That's not in this episode. Stargazer says, I give it a 6, but it's worthy for being Barclay's first appearance.
Yeah, fair enough. Jody's also given a 6 out of 10.
Jody says 6 out of 10.
Oh, that Jody.
Oh, well, he gave, I gotta look at what he gave last week. But anyway, so that is our score. Those are our scores. So yeah, 8 out of 10 for that episode. Now looking ahead to the next episode, what do we got here?
One of the best. One
The
of the
most
best.
toys. Okay,
most
this
toys.
is definitely in my top 5 favorite episodes of the series. I'm so excited to review it. However, I'm going to be out of town next week. I'm going to be in St. John's, Newfoundland and Labrador for the Montana's Briar, which I'm very excited about for all you curling fans out there. Just to interrupt myself, World Mind says I got a 7 on this episode. So you can put it in the
I got to put Jody's 6 in and
yes.
Chris's.
So for the most toys, I'm not sure who else is on with me, but I know I'm definitely on. We have an evening game that night, so I may be joining late, but I will be joining live from the Rock. Can't wait.
Excellent.
That would be 10:30 in Newfoundland.
Yes, exactly.
10:30 in Newfoundland.
It'll be 10 in Newfoundland.
10 in Newfoundland. Sorry, I just always liked that on the CBC when we were kids. That's
yes, 7 o'clock, 7:30 in Newfoundland.
That's right.
What did Chris give it, a 7?
He said 7. Yes.
Okay. All right. Sorry about all that. Okay. So yes, we are talking about the most toys next, which in this one, Lieutenant Commander Data is kidnapped by an obsessive collector who leads the Enterprise crew to believe that Data was destroyed in a shuttlecraft accident. The title's reference is a quote popular in the 1980s. Whoever dies with the most toys wins. Heather and Adam are the only 2 signed up right now, but we will poll the teams, see if we can fill out the team, a little bit more. So watch out for that. And then later this week,
does everybody else love that episode though? We won't get into it hardcore, but like everyone loves it, right?
It's a great one.
It's a great. I think Saul Rubinek in particular makes it because it's a great script, but I think Saul Rubinek really elevates it to the next level.
He totally does. But the ending with Data, I think it's the first time you see something of Data we haven't seen, and we'll wait till next week.
Right, all that as well, and then later this week we are going to be talking. You can be there, Jody. On the next, we're doing Starfleet Academy. We'll be on Thursday. I will be on for that because I'm curling tomorrow, not Thursday this week. We're talking. Tilly's back, everyone. The Life of the Stars, season 1, episode 8 on Thursday. Look for that.
Do we continue with the yo-yo, guys? Up and down, up and down. We'll see.
Could be. It's been great having Allison on those shows. She's been.
Yes, shout out to Allison,
but
my sister in roller derby, Criminal.
Exactly. Well, glad she's with us for that. So we'll be talking about that, and then what else? Oh, and then yes, to Sam's point earlier, we will be on our other channel, the Super Mario Bros podcast. We will be on Wednesday night for the premiere of the newest season of Survivor. It is called Survivor 50 in the hands 50.
I should have known there was something up with Survivor on Wednesday.
Yeah, Survivor 50 in the hands of the fans. Are you excited, Adam?
No.
Look at this. Exciting. Look at all these past players.
So they're bringing people back? Is this what's happening?
Yeah, these are all returning. Even Jenna from season 1.
There's not 50
Oh my God, Jenna?
Jenna's here. We got Colby from season 2. We got, Ozzy and Cook.
Jenna like 25 years older now? Is that how this works?
Well, that's how much time has gone by. So you were, yes. So
wow.
She was once a certain age, and then 26 years later, here we are.
You're such a dick.
I'm just explaining how it works in a helpful way.
Is that how the passage of time
I think
works?
the right question would have been: if it's season 50, why isn't there 50 years? Maybe you could have.
There's 2 per season.
You could have been a little gentler in explanation, but
I apologize. I'm trying to get there with everyone. I just assume. So anyway, we'll be on with everyone for that on Wednesday. Look out for that. All right. Well, I got a bit of a long quote here to pull us out here. I hope you don't mind. We'll see you next time here on Live Long and Podcast.
You don't know what a struggle this has been for me, Commander. Being afraid all of the time of forgetting somebody's name, not knowing what to do with your hands. I mean, I am the guy who writes down things to remember to say when there's a party. And then when he finally gets there, he winds up alone in the corner, trying to look comfortable, examining a potted plant.
You're just shy, Barclay.
Just shy. Sounds like nothing serious, doesn't it? You can't know.
Can anyone hit that video at the bottom? I can't seem to get it. My mouse won't scroll. Heather?
What am I doing?
Can you just hit the
in transmission?
Thank you. I'm just trying to hit the video.
I don't know how to do it.
Okay. Bye.